3 things that Destiny 2 desperately needs, or Destiny 3 if they ever plan on making it, would need to kind of make this game feel a lot better. First and foremost, power level. Power level has to matter. If they're gonna reintroduce it back into Destiny 2 like they are now, they have to make it matter. Plus 10 levels just for the sake of it being plus 10 levels at the new season doesn't mean anything. For the most part, most players aren't going to necessarily run into requirements that need higher power levels than the base power level. Most people don't need to grind for the max power level. It doesn't matter to a majority of players. Making power levels matter would inherently make the game feel a lot better, and I think the way that they do that is make the progression from planet to planet as we unlock new planets, they get progressively harder and stronger. We don't need for the EDZ to be on the same difficulty scale as the moon, or the moon for Nessus, and then Nessus to Europa. And then we have this jump to Neomuna, which doesn't make sense if you really think about it. Every other planet feels the exact same. Neomuna is just the big, strong, tough guy in the room, and we don't know why. So if you progressively scaled up to Neomuna, it would feel a lot better, and that's why the Neomuna experiment kind of failed for people. No one liked it because it was a random strength buff out of nowhere. Like, they just gave it a random strength potion for no reason, and they wondered why people hated the idea of going to Neomuna and facing harder enemies. It's because you didn't progressively build up to it. Second point, we need to make all rarities matter. For a loot-based game, Destiny has a terrible way of portraying loot. Loot shouldn't just be held to being legendary and exotic because that's the only thing people see now. It shouldn't feel that bad to use a rare versus a legendary. And I think the way that we do this is a total restructure of the loot scale. So instead of just getting a legendary or an exotic off the rip, no. You build up a legendary, you build up an exotic. You build those tiers up by making the uncommons and commons the most common of the loot. And you build it up from playing with those weapons and upgrading them by a thing I'm going to talk about later. You build those weapons up to being a legendary, you build it up to being an exotic, you build it up to being a rare, and just go from there. Like how you kind of did it in Destiny 1 with Husk of the Pit. I think that's kind of a perfect example, or at least the nearest example I can see to how you would do it. So you build up from the lowest of the lows and you make it your own exotic. You make it your own legendary, and that's how you do it. How would they implement this now? They couldn't really do it now per se. This will be a more like a Destiny 3 type of change to where you can actually start off with this style, because too many people already have legendaries, too many people have exotics to even try to introduce this style of play or style of loot now into the game. Moving on to my final point, we need to have more relevant NPCs, and NPCs really should feel more lively. The gunsmith feels so dull because he feels like a glorified weapons dealer rather than a gunsmith, because we don't need him for parts for a gun. But if you introduce the system that I was talking about with the rarities, you kind of reap the benefits of having a character that can actually feed into that model as well. Imagine us upgrading our common weapon, and by that we have to procure parts from the gunsmith. It makes his job actually feel like his job. The gunsmith is not a gunsmith, he is a weapons dealer. We literally just get weapons from him, that's it. And if you want to go down the semantical route, the upgrade modules are the only part of the gunsmith whole inventory that is actually resembling a gunsmith, because it is the only thing that upgrades our gun. Everything else is just a weapons seller, a weapons dealer if you will, a glorified one at that, because the weapons are always pretty trash. And as always, thanks for watching the video guys. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, and comment if you're new. And a funny story before we just end off, this video was never planned. This was supposed to be a 19-minute rant / yap session from me. I still have that video, by the way, if you want to just let me know, but I really wanted to condense my points down so you guys didn't have to just hear me ramble about everything and that was on my mind at 1 a.m. in the morning. But if you guys want that, just leave that in the comment section that you want the 19-minute video. I will drop it. So yeah, thanks for watching the video guys. Peace.